Victoria, welcome to People in Legal.
Thank you for having me.
Victoria, for our listeners who actually don't know you, can you introduce yourself and talk about what you're doing now, your journey, etc.?
Absolutely. So my name's Victoria Rebellato. I am a Kiwi, as everyone can probably hear, born and
Yeah.
raised in Auckland, New Zealand. So I am currently the General Manager of the Family Law Education Network. And my background is as a family lawyer. So I trained in New Zealand. Initially, I worked for a barrister who did a little bit of criminal, a little bit of civil, and some family law, but I specialised quite quickly in family law. Did that for approximately 10 years in New Zealand. And then one of the big turning points for me was actually COVID, as I'm sure it was for lots of people.
Mm.
My husband is a pilot, so he lost his job and we upped sticks over here to Australia. And so that gave me a bit of an opportunity to sort of pause and think, okay, what's next in my career? And it's developed over the course of the next few years. I worked for a local firm. I live in the country, in the middle of New South Wales, about 5 hours from Sydney.
Oh,
So
wow.
I worked, yeah, so in the middle of nowhere. It's a bit of a culture shock to move from the city in New Zealand to out here, but it was
Mm.
really, really good. And so I did some work for a firm out here. The nature of my husband's work, as you can imagine, is that we move around a lot. So I ended up taking on more of a almost like an in-house counsel role. I was supporting the other lawyers in the team, covering their leave, helping with their clients, that sort of thing. Had children and then decided to take that role and essentially provide it more widely. So to support other family lawyers around Australia in more of a consulting locum type role, which I did there for a few years. And then again, a natural progression after I met our CEO, Amanda Little, was to start doing a bit more work for the Education Network, and I've moved into a general
Mm.
manager type role. So it's been a sort of a natural progression, I would say, in a lot of ways, towards more away from practice, although I do still hold my practicing certificate, and towards roles that support family lawyers a bit more specifically. So yeah, it's been an interesting little journey.
It's an amazing journey. You've started in a more traditional sort of sense. You've moved countries. You've also moved into it from a point of view of actually practicing, into supporting that sort of stuff.
Mm.
I'm really curious. You're talking to literally hundreds or probably thousands of family lawyers. I mean, what's going on out there?
Oh, look, I mean, I think the general theme is it is an extremely demanding area of law to practice. I have even more respect now, I think, for family lawyers than I did when I was one. It is extremely difficult, extremely demanding, and some people deal with that better than others. But I think up until the last few years, it hasn't really been discussed. It's sort of just been that's the way that this profession is, and you need to suck it up and you keep going. And that results in burnout, obviously. So I think it's nice to see a little bit of a shift towards recognizing that that is an issue. It was one of Amanda's impetus for starting the network was we were just losing family lawyers in droves and really needed to create a bit more support around that. And it continues to be one of our sort of central goals. So I think that's one of the big things that's happening out there is people being a bit more honest about what's difficult about it and how to do it a bit better.
Mm.
Um, and then obviously the other big thing happening in the space is what technology family lawyers have available to them, how to navigate that in a way that's productive. And so I'd say those are the two big themes, and those are two of the things that we focus on a lot at the network. So education is one answer, and it's a lot of what we do, but it isn't the only one. There's a lot of kind of work that needs to be done across the profession, including the allied health professionals, including the courts, to make it more manageable for everyone involved in it.
You're right. It's one of those areas of law that would be very difficult because you've got to have really high level of interpersonal skills.
Mm.
It does become very personal for people. A whole bunch of situations that would affect you personally, but trying to balance that as well as there's the money side of things. I mean, basically, I guess people they've got a certain capacity to pay, and there's that balancing act as well. And I guess and there's all this heavily process driven kind of the post process driven things that are going on in the background in terms of practicing a law as well. So
Mm.
it's a interesting combination of things that are actually going on there.
Yeah, it is absolutely, and there's a spectrum of family lawyers practicing in that system too. So you've got the juniors who are coming in fresh, who are working for other people, the intermediate solicitors, and then the seniors. And the seniors oftentimes have got to a stage, however many years down the track, where they've been able to find a way that makes that career work for them, whether they've gone out on their own as sole practitioners, or they've gone to the bar, or they've gone into partnership, created new firms, and so on. Whereas family lawyers who are earlier in their career are under a lot of pressure because they haven't kind of maybe worked those things out for themselves that make that day to day a bit more manageable. So it's interesting. There's a really broad range of people, of personalities, of boundaries, the things that they are prepared to accept in their practice and the things they're not. It's really interesting and it's nuanced.
Yeah. I'm going to get super practical now and talk about, if I was actually a family lawyer, what is FLENA going to do for me? So how can FLENA make my life better?
So we support family law practitioners. It's as simple as that. And we do that in a variety of different ways. We have a really comprehensive and sort of cohesive education program that we run.
Mm.
So we provide month-to-month education, webinars, and what we call family mastery, which is more of a collaboration discussion to support that webinar. And those build month to month. So we cover all the way through from, case strategy, complex financial disputes, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, we provide a really comprehensive program there, and then we provide automated drafting tools for family lawyers. So these are not just white label Word documents. They're heavily automated precedents and workflows that family lawyers can use to just try and improve the efficiency of practice. We're all about lawyers being able to lawyer and have the freedom to lawyer, and using tools and tricks and shortcuts to make the rest of it a little faster, a little more efficient, a little easier. But for, as I say, that whole spectrum of lawyers I was mentioning earlier. So the seniors can focus on the supervision, the juniors are producing work that's a little more high quality, that's a little more reliable, and can then hone their skills on the advice aspect. And then, as I say, overall, we're looking to support practitioners. So we're always providing masterclasses where they're pertinent and needed. So shortly, very well at the moment, everyone's grappling with AML. So we'll be looking to roll out some stuff in that space, and just wherever there's just constant change in our profession. Things are switching all the time, forms are changing. And so we want to really be that resource to help people navigate those and be on top of it. So we do case summaries and the lot. So we're really looking to be that central repository of knowledge and support for family lawyers. And we work with our members quite closely as well. So we're always really open to feedback, and they come to us and tell us, hey, do you have anything on this? We could really do with, some child support materials, so on and so forth. So we love to work really closely with everyone that is engaged with us.
Brilliant. Victoria, do you have any stories that you can share around, I guess, the FLENA journey from being in a world of pain into actually getting their practice sorted out and keeping the family lawyers on board and making things better and giving people life?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that the biggest thing and the place where we can have the biggest impact is easing the load on that range of practitioners. So for firm principals have said to us, look, having this library of automated documents that we can then roll out across our team, have a system, have a checklist, the lawyers under me, the paralegals, the support staff, everyone knows that this is the checklist that we follow in a parenting matter, for example. They know what needs to come next. My need to sort of check, have you sent the letter on X, Y, and Z? Has the mandatory material been sent to the client? Okay, I get the letter of advice. It's up to date. The law is up to date. That changed last month, or that section is correct. And actually the parts that I need to review are much more limited because I know that you guys are across the detail. So it's that efficiency piece and easing that load so that the lawyers, the junior lawyers and the intermediate lawyers can focus on their advice. The seniors can focus on their substantive supervision and not sort of checking all the time on procedural stuff. That's been the biggest impact, I think, for firms. And the ability, as also to just have their teams have access to the range of education that we provide is really useful. They're not having to think about CPD points, for example, because we provide enough throughout the year that it's just done. But primarily, it's access to what we create that just takes practitioners don't have time for that. Particularly everyone has the material. They know what needs to be in there. Of course they do. But we have the ability and the time to create those documents, to automate them, to make them really, really useful and to hone them. So when the law changes, we can roll out a suite of amendments to make sure that they're all up to date and, incorrect legislative references are not being sent out to clients and so forth.
Brilliant. How many firms are there in FLENA?
We've got about 4,500 family lawyers in our network all up.
Wow.
Yeah, so we have I think the number's about 150 firms that have our full, what we call our ultimate membership. So that includes our practice resources and our education and so forth. And then there's another cohort that just access our education, for example. So people just access generally what they need. And we're rolling that out now across Western Australia in the next few weeks, and New Zealand ultimately.
Brilliant.
Once I've started those documents. So as you can imagine, it's a bit of a task, but that's exciting. So we will have by the end of the year full Australia-wide trans-Tasman support for family law practitioners across that spectrum.
That's amazing. I mean, that's quite a significant group. And I guess one of the benefits that I'm thinking of is you've got power in terms of actually dealing with vendors, particularly from point of view of the size of the buying group. If there's particular technology that you want to access for your members, you can get access to it that way. The access to other things they probably couldn't ordinarily get access to by themselves. Because you're part of a larger group, that probably is a big benefit.
That's right. Yeah. And we're always working with, numerous different providers and suppliers within the industry, testing out those products, working out what's useful. And so when we're running our education systems, and naturally that becomes a part of the conversation, we can give our 2 cents worth there. And yeah, I think increasingly as the membership grows and the network grows in the national and trans-Tasman sense, I think even more so. It'll be great to create that community, because historically I think family lawyers have operated very much in silos, and you have your clients and your cases, and that person is on the other side, and unless they're a personal friend, which of course we do become, and we spend time together at court and so forth, but it's really nice to expand that network and recognize that there are people all over the country and across the ditch doing the same sometimes very challenging work, and it's lovely to have a bit of camaraderie in that and create that community, which comes back to why it was created in the first place.
I mean, from a lifestyle point of view as well, there'd be a bunch of tools that you guys have got in the seminars and other resources you've got from point of view of helping people sort of balance their lives and get some sort of peace from, like this.
Totally. We've always had a big sort of emphasis on wellness, and that continues to be the case. We have access to some really incredible professionals who've run some awesome sessions for us. And so all of our members, they have access to our portal, which we've recorded all of those sessions. So there are literally hundreds of sessions on there that they can go back and look at from some of the most preeminent, experts in that field, who provides us some really amazing tools. And we're always creating resources and downloadable materials and work sort of worksheets and opportunities for people to reflect, whether it's in the wellness space or in the business of law or in their black letter law kind of everyday practice. We try to cover all of those things, but yeah, wellness is a very central pillar of all of that. We want family lawyers to be happy and to be able to do this job sustainably.
Absolutely.
That's it's not a given. Yeah.
I guess one question in my mind is that family lawyers are very generous with their time. They're basically working inside of hours, outside of hours, all sorts of times and things like that, and spend a lot more time on matters than what they'd probably bill for. Are firms making money?
Look, I think it's become increasingly difficult. I think the current climate makes that really, really hard. And I see a lot of conversations happening with employees of firms trying to work out where they sit and what the next few years look like for them, and principals and directors are struggling to necessarily give them what they would like. So I think it's tight, and I think it's hard, and things like AML make that even more difficult. A lot of family lawyers do conveyancing as well. That's become, going to become a whole nother beast for people. So I think it's challenging. I can't lie. And a lot of family lawyers are sole practitioners. And so for them, I suppose, it swings and roundabouts because they don't have necessarily have those intensive overheads, but it is just on them. And I think that's one of the other biggest issues in family law is there's just this gap between the amount of work and the complexity of it that's coming in, and then the capacity, whether that's financial, emotional, or just structural ability of practitioners to meet that demand. And it's an ongoing issue, and it's an issue with the courts as well. It's not just clients to family lawyers. But yeah, the finance side of it is increasingly difficult.
For a sole practitioner, like the whole succession planning side of things must be difficult, because I'm
Super
just thinking,
challenging.
where would they take the practice to? How would they, retire at some point in time?
Yep, absolutely. Really, really difficult for them to think about. They spend their whole careers building this, in many cases, very successful little practices. They're very happy running that just themselves. They don't necessarily want to scale and have a whole team. But in order to hand that down, you need to bring somebody in. And I think a big part of that is their network. So a lot of those sole practitioners are very, very good at getting themselves out there in whatever capacity, whether that's conferences, education programs like ours, to make sure that they have those connections and have those conversations as they start to turn their mind to that issue. And often it's the case that there are other solicitors floating around who are interested in development opportunities. Or there are, people who might look to absorb files and so forth. But no, you're exactly right. It's a real tricky issue for those smaller, for either sole practitioners or micro firms, of which the majority of family lawyers are. We're not operating generally in big firms. So it's tricky, it's live. But I think networking is a huge part of that from what I've observed. The people who do it really well have excellent connections and networks, and people that they are always touching base with. And then that information is out there, that they're looking to succession plan and what that should look like for them.
I mean, family law practice, there's a huge opportunity. Family law practice who've got, a bit of capacity, that would be the absolute perfect place to be as part of FLENA for people coming to you. And I guess it's, as you say, fantastic network opportunities for people to meet each other, look at opportunities as well. So business opportunities from both sides.
Absolutely. Yep. And we've seen that happen a lot through the network, and we have some credible presenters. They will often co-present, and so then those two, very senior practitioners from different ends of the country are now working together on a session, become good friends and become great colleagues and stay in touch, and they're living very similar lives in most cases. And so it's a really lovely opportunity to do that. And I think it's worked really well for a lot of our members, which is fantastic. And then we obviously have those rare but really important occasions when we can get everybody in the same place, like we did at the 𝗀𝗂𝗃𝗃 last month. And that's also a great chance. And we were able to put together a bunch of breakfasts and morning teas for various sort of facets of our membership so that they could meet and chat and network. And it's super valuable.
It's a great conference, and everyone is really, really nice, great presenters. The vibe was really good as well. I felt it was a very happy kind of place to be, and people love what they're doing, and they liked, being able to connect with other people as well in that sort of space and build their energy up.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the people who attend our conferences, have a good idea of what we're about and what we do, which is absolute center of that is just trying to do things a bit differently, recognizing that what's gone before doesn't necessarily work. We're going to try and do something a little bit innovative here, and the conference is no exception. So, we've got all sorts of awesome sessions that we're putting out that are not what you would expect at one of these. And the networking that you get as a result of that is super important. And I think, coming back to the junior family lawyers too, it's a really important message because they don't generally like networking and it's scary. And I understand all of that. But if you want to do this job sustainably and for the long term, you need your colleagues. You really do. And to build up those relationships and take those opportunities at conferences and in various networking opportunities is so key to your ability to do this moving forward, because you will rely on those relationships, and not just your lawyer colleagues, but allied health professionals. And we had a lot of those at the conference too. People that you can call up and you can work together with through your career will be key to your survival and to your happiness.
Where's FLENA going?
We're just ever expanding, David. I think, as I say, we're about to roll out Western Australia. We're offering our family mastery program is for free for Western Australians, and that's starting at the end of this month. We have Kim Morrison, who's a fantastic WA family lawyer, running that program. And so we will shortly have the suite of automated precedents available for those practitioners as well. And then, as I say, the next stage will be New Zealand. So we will continue to hone our program and hone our education offering and our support for our lawyers, as well as our masterclasses on those sort of pertinent topics. We will continue to update the profession on all the things that change, which I'm sure there will be lots of still this year. And then we will build on our resources that we have available. So I know that family lawyers across, if I can call it, the sort of eastern states are crying out for some more of the documents that we have. I know that there's various categories of documents that people are really, really keen for, and we just need to keep working on those and getting those out so that we can make life a little easier. Always looking to keep developing that suite.
Brilliant. Will you be doing another conference?
Watch this space. If you talk to Amanda Little in the days afterwards, she'd probably tell you never again because she was exhausted. But she always says that, and we're always back. We always do things differently, so I think whatever we do next will be different again. And I think that's the cool thing, is that you can't necessarily anticipate what we're going to do next, because we love to keep it really interesting and innovative. So watch this space. We'll see. Hopefully.
Brilliant. So if I'm a family lawyer watching this podcast now, what's the number one reason why I'd actually join FLENA?
Join up with us for holistic support. I would say you can then switch off any concerns about your CPD points for the year. We will cover all of that. You can then really hone the efficiency of your practice with the practice tools that we supply. They are heavily automated, save you a huge amount of time and energy. The billables that you will get back will be significant. And then, as I say, will be really that central repository of knowledge for you, so that as things change, you'll be across it. You'll be at the forefront of family law practice. You'll have an really good opportunity to network with all of your colleagues and to meet some of our fabulous collaborators. It's super worthwhile. Come and join us. We've got a great team, is the other thing I should add. So if anybody does want to know in a little bit more detail what that looks like, we've got a great team that can show you and can provide you with demonstrations and things to take you through that. So reach out.
Lovely people. Victoria, thank you so much for your time today. Appreciate your time, and it's been some great insights. Thank you.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it.